Woke up this morning. That's right. Is it working? Is it working? Are we live? 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 We are live. I woke up this morning, 3:40 a.m., feeling energized, ready to rock and roll, ready to take on this amazing, incredible, powerful, impactful day. Grabbed my big old cup of water, went downstairs, grabbed my Morning 5 planner. And when I grabbed my planner, there was a quote right there at the top. And the quote said this: if you want to be used by God, G-O-D, big capital G, if you want to be used by God, you have to be willing to, and in fact embrace, the possibility of being inconvenienced. If you want to be used by God, you have to be willing to, and in fact, embrace the possibility of being inconvenienced. This was submitted by Mr. Tom Popelka. I read that quote this morning and I thought, oh my goodness. At what point did we tell ourselves this crazy story that if we follow the path, that if we do the right thing, that if we make the right choices, and we have a desire to make an impact, to be used by God, that life would be easy? When did we tell ourselves that nonsense? If you really think about it, there's a battle going on. There's a battle going on for your soul. There is a war that is happening every single day within us and around us on a spiritual level. So, of course, if you are moving towards happiness in your life, of course, if you are moving towards the best version of yourself you can possibly be, of course, if you are moving towards living your life in a healthy and powerful way that ultimately inspires those around you, if you are living out your life in a way that it is destined to create a legacy of impact, then bro, the enemy's gonna attack. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, look at some of the crazy stuff that's going on Strait of Hormuz, or the tariffs, or whatever whatever conflict you want to look at that we're having on a political level. Obviously, you take, when somebody's moving in a strategic and powerful way, then you try to stop that movement. You try to create chaos. You shut down the strait, which creates chaos. You increase a tariff, which creates a reaction, right? So here you are trying to do the right thing, trying to create your best life, trying to make an impact, and you expect it to just be this comfortable, easy journey? No, ma'am, no, sir. No, ma'am, no, sir. If you want to be used by God, you have to be willing to, and in fact, embrace the possibility of being inconvenienced. It will not be sunshine and rainbows, my friends. Sunshine and rainbows is always off in the distance for a reason. Think about that. Good morning and welcome to the #1 morning show in America. I am your host, Glenn Lundy, husband to 1, father to 9, author, speaker, and the founder of 800%.life. It's 5:30 a.m. and it's time to rise and grind. Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Thursday. That's right, today is Thursday, May 28th, 2026. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Thursday, May 28th, 2026. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most, of this absolutely incredible day. I'm seeing a lot of my friends joining in here today. Great to see all of you. I I really, really, really appreciate you being here. I'm coming to you live from Lexington, Kentucky, where it's a little warm and a little muggy this week would be the best way to describe it. We're looking at like 80 degrees today, but muggy because it's been raining the last few days, lots of moisture in the air, so on and so forth. But I'm not complaining. Love the heat. I'm a tropical people. Let's get rid of the cold. We don't freaking need it. We don't need it. Now listen, you and I can find plenty to complain about on the daily. I find it interesting when we talk, and that's probably why I bring the weather up every day, is it's like, bro, we're too cold, we're too hot, it's too moist, it's too humid, it's too whatever, right? But really, if we took the time, what's up, Curtis? If we took the time to really think about what the heck is going on here in this crazy thing called life, we probably would invest a lot less time complaining about the things that we can't control and start being a little bit more intentional about the things that we can. You see, this morning, I was thinking about all the things that I've been working on in my life and that I know people are working on around me, and I started thinking about the tombstone. You know that tombstone that all of us are ultimately destined to have one day? Because what's interesting about the tombstone is on your tombstone, there's going to be a date. There's going to be the date that you were born. On my tombstone, it's going to say December 20th, 1977. That I know for sure. What's your tombstone? What date is going to be on your tombstone? Go ahead and drop that in the comments right now. I dare you. Mine's going to say December 20th, 1977. That's the day I know. Now, there's going to be another date also on this tombstone. Now, that date, I don't know what that date's going to be. That date could be anywhere from May 28th, 2026 to May 28th, 2096. Or anywhere in between. I don't know that second date. I know the first date. Trisha Rue knows her first date, May 12th, 1967. Frank Knox knows his first date, August 23rd, 1973. Sol Salcido knows her first date because it's the same as mine, because her and I are birthday twins, 12/20/1977. JP knows his first date, September 1st, 1976. Patricia knows her first date, November 6th, 1970. Curtis Wentworth knows his first date, March 10th, 1983. Mike Larkin knows his first date, March 2nd, 1969. Arlene knows her first date, September 1st, 1970. Marilyn Wilkin, May 27th, 69. She just had a birthday yesterday. So we all know our first date, but we don't know that second date, bro. We don't get the opportunity to know that second date. That second date is gonna come when it comes. No warning, no ahead of time. It will be when it will be. Kurt McFarland, July 14th, 1987. Liza Borges, September 6th, 1975. Nathaniel Banks, August 31st, 1972. So we know the first date, we don't know the second date, but that second date will be on your tombstone. And in between that first and that second date, there's going to be this tiny little dash. Just a little line, a tiny little mark carved into stone. And somehow that little dash has to represent your entire existence. That little dash has to represent your, like, every laugh that you have in your life, every heartbreak that you have in your life, every dream that you have in your life, every success that you have in your life, every failure that you have in your life, every lesson that you have in your life, every scar that you get in your life, every victory you experience in your life, every moment that you loved in your life, every moment that you hid in your life, every person that you lifted in your life, every opportunity that you wasted in your life, every prayer in your life, every fear in your life, every act of courage in your life, all of it, every moment of your life will ultimately be reduced to a dash. Now listen, my friends, you and I are in a series this week. We're in a series called Father Time is Undefeated. And as I've been meditating, for lack of a better word, on these shows this week, I am becoming increasingly aware that you and I's lives are not measured in years, but ultimately measured in the moments that make up those years. So today we're going to take this a little bit further. As you know, this show is all about motivation, education, and inspiration. Not trying to be Debbie Downer here. My name's Glenn, and I'm your friend, and we've got a conversation we need to have. Before we go too far, though, hopefully that's loud enough. It's a little soft for me. Hold on. There we go. But before we go too far, though, we got to do some dancing on this show. You know what we got to do. Steady rising up from the cracks in the ground. Keep it consistent, yet the rhythm is tight. Locking it in, working deep in the night, working deep in the night. Hello. There we go. That was weird. An object in motion stays in motion. An object at rest stays at rest. We need to get these bodies in motion, all right? This is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you. I'm sorry, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right, I need you to hit that share button because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe that. I really, really do. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you, yes, you, to hit that share button. Tag a friend, do all those things. This is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching this show live, you're watching this show on replay, you're watching this show on YouTube, you're listening to the podcast, whatever it is, you make sure you say, what's up? Ramon Ray, good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for being here. Glad you enjoyed the music today. Curtis Wentworth is in the building. Curtis, thank you for being here. Good morning, Mr. Curtis Wentworth. Good morning, Scott Holbert. Thank you for being here today. Great to see you, sir. Marilyn Wilkin. Good morning, Miss Marilyn Wilkin. Thank you for being here. Liza Myers Borges is in the building. Thanks for being here, Liza. Greg Becker is here with us today. Greg Becker's on, I think, a 135-day streak on the Morning 5 app. Way to go, Greg. Young and Johnson, good morning to you. Mike Larkin, good morning to you. Trisha Rue, good morning to you. Nathaniel Banks, good morning to you. Gene Hughes, good morning to you. Those of you that are listening over on Clubhouse, good morning to all of you. Thanks for always joining me here. I greatly appreciate it. Sol Salcido, my birthday twin, good morning to you, young lady. Thank you for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Robin Wilshans is in the building. Patricia Frudenberg, a.k.a. Patty from New York, is in the building. I'm going to be in New York for a High Rocks competition in like 9 days or something like that. I will be competing in High Rocks Saturday, June 6th. So wish me luck on that. If you're a prayerful person, I'll take them all. Take those prayers all day long. Angela Hastings, thank you for being here. And for those of you that are watching on replay, I greatly appreciate you. I know my mom's tuning in. I know Heather Parody watches every single episode of this show. Kathy Camacho, Judy Tebow, Robert Migliaccio is usually on a little bit later. So many of you. Larry, my guy Larry Molnix will catch this show a little bit later. Hannah Gross on my team, she'll watch this show a little bit later today. So for those of you that are watching on replay, thank you so much. I love you. I do. All right. Let's keep this train rolling.
Father Time is undefeated. You cannot stop time.
All right, listen, if you've ever been to a funeral, it's interesting because typically at a funeral, you're having all these conversations in the room, especially at the visitation, so on and so forth, and everyone all of a sudden becomes a philosopher. Have you ever experienced that? It's kind of wild. I've been to more funerals than I would like to have been to now that I'm gaining experience and wisdom in years. But at every funeral, people stand around and they whisper things like, life is short. Tomorrow isn't promised. He was too young. She had so much left to do. Just very philosophical conversations. And for just a second, this illusion of life kind of disappears, and there comes a point in every funeral for every person, or at least every time I've gone, there comes a point where we all like remember, oh my gosh, I'm going to die someday too. Am I right? Weddings, single people go to the weddings and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get married one time. When we go to, when we go to a sporting event, somebody does something amazing. We're like, oh, I'm going to do something amazing sometime. Well, unfortunately, when we go to the funeral, we walk away going, oh my gosh. That'll be me in that box one day. And then we leave the funeral. And what happens? What happens after we leave the funeral? Well, we leave the funeral, and 3 days later, we're right back to scrolling, right back to procrastinating, right back to arguing over stupid stuff. We're right back to wasting away the very thing that we were just reminded is so incredibly precious. We just go right back to taking our time and throwing it in the trash. All right? So listen, this morning I want to remind you that little tiny dash, that makes up everything, that dash matters. That dash, though a little tiny etch into a tombstone, that dash is ultimately your stewardship of this thing called life. That dash is your assignment in this thing called life. That dash is your opportunity to leave your fingerprints on humanity long after you are gone. And here's the crazy part. Like the dash is filled with all of the things that make up your life. But here's what's interesting. When someone on the outside looks at the dash, they never remember the size of your house. They never remember what year the car was that you're driving. They never remember I have never at a funeral heard anyone talking about the how many followers you have on social media. It's just, I've never heard it happen. Maybe it's happened somewhere, but I've never heard someone at a funeral say, well, they died with 283,000 followers. I've just never heard anybody say that. I've never heard anyone say, well, that guy right there, he sure attended a whole lot of meetings. Like nobody remembers how many meetings you showed up for. Nobody remembers how much wealth you amassed or anything like that. You know what people remember about your little dash? They remember how you made them feel. And they remember who you became along the way. They remember whether or not you loved deeply in your life. They remember whether or not you lived courageously in your life. They remember whether or not you showed up when it mattered most for others and for yourself. That's what they remember. That's the dash, bro. And see, some of the people right here in this room, some of you have been busy building your resume or your online presence or your image or whatever. You've been busy building that when what you should be building is your legacy. Because let's be honest, dude, the world right now that you and I live in here in 2026, it's a crazy one. And it is designed to distract you from the dash. Do you realize that? Like everything, all of the entertainment, all of the streaming, all the different platforms that we have, the algorithms that are in front of us, all the noise, all the drama, all the politics, all the comparison, all the consumerism, all the social media platforms, all of it, it's all competing for one thing and one thing only. It's all competing for your attention. That's it. Attention is the new currency. Attention is worth more than oil. Attention is worth more than gold. It is all designed. It is all competing for your attention. Wherever your attention goes, they know your life follows. And if we're honest, most people, unfortunately, are so distracted that they never stop long enough to ask, what kind of story am I actually leaving with my life? Instead of watching all of these stories online, what story am I actually writing? And see, when I say what story are you writing, I'm not saying what story are you posting. What's the actual story that you're writing with your life? Not your Instagram story. No. Your soul's story. Your life's story. Because one day, for you and for me, all of the filters are going to disappear. There's no filters in the coffin. All the filters are going to disappear, and the titles are going to disappear, and the applause is going to disappear, and all that's going to remain is the simple truth. Did you become who God created you to become, or did you trade in all of that for a life of convenience and consumerism and comfort? Listen, my dad died at 52. Some of us are blessed to have parents that live forever and ever and ever, and others of us are not. On my mom's side, there is longevity. On my dad's side, there is not. My dad died at 52, and I remember when my dad passed away, I just remember thinking, like, this doesn't make any sense, bro. Like, how can a human just be here one day and then the next they're gone? Like, it's so final. Think back to the first time you experienced the loss of a loved one. Like, it's so final. You know what I'm saying? And it just felt weird. And honestly, there was a part of me, even to this day, I think there's a part of me that kind of wrestles with that just a little bit. Here today, gone tomorrow. Because as humans, like, it's really strange, right? You and I both know that death exists, but we live like it only happens to other people. Do you realize that? I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, we all know death exists, but it only happens over there. Like, tragedy only happens on the other side of the window. It doesn't happen in the mirror. You know what I mean? Like, we just live our lives like that's the case. And I get it. There's probably some mercy in that. Like, God had to create us that way, because if we fully understood how fragile life really is, like if we fully understood it every second of every day, we'd probably like never be able to go to sleep, right? Like we'd be too scared to do anything if we were just thinking about the implications, right? I think we probably wouldn't be able to get out of bed. So it's like God is giving us mercy by allowing us to be numb to this thing called death. But I kind of think that maybe sometimes we become too numb to it. Not questioning God's plan. I'm just saying it's pretty easy to, get so numb to the idea of death that you never think it's going to come for you. And so because you don't think it's going to come for you, you postpone having the conversations you know you need to have with the people you need to have them with. You postpone forgiveness for those that you need to forgive and say, oh, well, maybe next week, maybe next month, maybe next time. You postpone the growth that you know that you need when it comes to your relationship with God, when it comes to your relationship with your parents, when it comes to your relationship with your kids, when it comes to your relationship with your health, when it comes to your relationship with your finances, when it comes to your relationship with your career, with your boss, with your coworkers, when it comes to your relationship with your mental health, when it comes to your relationship with learning something new every single day, right? You're like, well, one day I'll get there, even though we all know one day is not guaranteed. So I'm going to ask you a hard question. For those of you that have children, I'm speaking directly to you as a parent. For those of you that don't have children, I'm speaking to you directly as someone who might be a mentor or a leader to others in the next generation. I'm going to ask you something, and this might be a heavy question this morning, but my name is Glenn, and I'm your friend, and this is what we do. You ready? If your child or this person that you have the opportunity to lead was speaking at your funeral today, what would they say about you? Now, I'm not talking about what do you hope they would say. What would they honestly say? Based on how you live your life right now, what would they honestly say? Because kids are brutally honest, are they not? Kids are brutally honest. So would your kids or this person of the next generation, would they say he was present? Would they say she loved deeply? Would they say he made us feel safe? Would they say she fought for us? Would they say he lived with courage? Or would they say he's always busy? Based on your actions and your interactions with them today, would they say, she's always distracted. She's always on her phone? Would they say he was physically there, my dad was physically there, but mentally he was always somewhere else? As I wrote that this morning, I personally look in the mirror and I'm like, yo, I'm doing a lot of great things. I'm investing time in my kids. I know I am. I'm investing time in my kids, but I can be better. I can be better in the moments, man. I can be better in the moments. There's moments where I'm not present, dude. There's moments where I'm not present. I could be better. My kids would say that dad's busy a lot. That's what they would say. My kids would say my dad travels a lot. He's gone a lot. Like my kids would say that. Like for real. And when I'm there and I'm with them, I try my best and I invest and I try to meet them where they are and build strong relationships. Like for real, but I know I could be better, dude. What about you? What would they say about you? Because here's the thing. Legacies aren't built later. Your legacy is built like yesterday afternoon. Your legacy is built on Thursday mornings. Your legacy is built on Tuesday nights, Taco Tuesdays. Your legacy is built on just a random Saturday. It's not. Your legacy is not built by these big, epic freaking moments, dude. Your legacy is built every second, every minute of every day in the ordinary moments that most of us take for granted. Now listen, I don't say all of this to depress anybody. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about all this because you and I, especially in today's world, we need to wake up. We need to wake up because there is a clock that is ticking. And that clock is not punishment. That's not the purpose of the clock. The clock is a gift. The clock is a gift because it creates urgency. And guess what? Urgency creates clarity. You see, when you realize that time is limited, you stop playing games. You stop needing everyone to approve of you all the time. You stop wasting years pretending to be someone that you're not. You stop tolerating people and things that are destroying your soul. You stop postponing the call. You stop shrinking back. And maybe that's what Father Time is trying to teach all of us. And this is why Father Time is so dang relentless. Maybe the clock isn't saying, hurry, life is coming to an end. Maybe the clock is saying, wake up, because life is happening right now. So today I want you to think about your dash. What story are you writing? What kind of father are you becoming? What kind of mother are you becoming? What kind of leader are you becoming? What kind of friend are you becoming? What kind of human are you becoming? And if your life were to end, unfortunately and unexpectedly, would your unfinished business be dreams, or would your unfinished business be regrets? Because these are not the same thing. See, unfinished dreams, that's okay. We ran out of time as we were living courageously. But regret is brutal, my friends. And there's a cemetery, like cemeteries all over this country, filled with people who planned to start someday and died with regret. The clock is ticking relentlessly, not to remind us that we will one day die, but to remind us that today we must live. Because one day, someone is going to stand over your grave. And when they stand over your grave, they're going to look at that little dash between the dates, and they're going to tell stories about who you were. And the question is, what stories will they tell? Will they say you played it safe, or will they say you were alive? Will they say you consumed life, or will they say you contributed to it? Will they say you chased comfort, or will they say you chased purpose? Because at the end of the day, your life is not going to be measured by how long you lived. It's going to be measured by how deeply you lived while you were here. And that, my friends, is the dash.
I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that they spent alive on earth, and now only those who love them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love, and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel. And be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash?